Harry Kane scored a goal and missed a penalty against former club Tottenham Hotspur as Bayern Munich won a pre-season friendly 4-0 at the Allianz Arena. The England striker controlled Michael Olaï's excellent long pass before slotting in Bayern's opener. But in the 15th minute he slipped as he was taking a spot kick and it sailed over the bar. Bayern completely dominated and scored 3 times in the final half an hour. Konrad Laimer dispossessed Jed Spence and picked out Kingsley Coman, who curled in their second. Bayern then brought on a host of youngsters midway through the second half, with Kane one of those coming off, and 2 of them scored. Lennart Karl, 17, hit a fantastic first-time effort from 18 yards and Jonah Kuziasore, 18, whipped in a fine shot from near the corner of the box. It was Kane's second game against Spurs. He featured in a friendly at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last year, since his £86.4 million move in 2023. The 32-year-old is Spurs' all-time top scorer with 280 goals in 435 games. Luis Diaz, a summer signing for Bayern from Liverpool, also started. Tottenham's 2025-26 season starts on Wednesday the 13th of August with the UEFA Super Cup against Paris Saint-Germain in Udine. Bayern Munich faced Tottenham Hotspur in the pre-season Telecom Cup and walked out with a convincing 4-0 win. Here are a few observations from the game. A 4-0 win is convincing enough, but not when the game had a lot more going. The finishing troubles continue to haunt Bayern this season too, as players like Harry Kane and Leon Goretzka failed to score even from very simple and uncomplicated situations. Michael Olaï, too, missed a clear tap-in an instance, and this was pretty much the theme of the first half. The attacking chances were phenomenal, the team interacted incredibly well and pressed incredibly well, and yet the result was not what it could have been. In what was very atypical of Harry Kane, he missed a penalty. Let that sink in. Kane, a seasoned striker, slipped, got a double touch and missed a penalty. He had multiple misses throughout his time on the pitch. Additionally, he was positioned very bizarrely for a striker, often found dropping much deeper than the wingers, in almost a position between left wing and attacking midfield. Following last season's finishing woes, it seems like Kane did not receive the memo on staying closer to the net. Yes, Tottenham were extremely poor at their job, they crumbled with the press and had barely anything going on. They did not even remotely deny or sabotage Bayern's chances, but Bayern was more than capable of doing it for themselves. However, in the second half Kompany turned it over to the youth, which is a topic for later. In the current circumstance where Bayern has virtually no depth in wings and is reliant on Serge Gnabry or Kingsley Coman, Luis Diaz is the single most important purchase the club could have made this season. Diaz had nothing short of a magical game. He was aggressive, smart, and gelled with the team extremely well. His passing was quick, accurate and effective, and his dribbling certainly catches the eye. Thankfully, he is not just another all-skills no-output winger, but someone with the game intelligence and the timing sense needed to thrive at Bayern. His presence has single-handedly bolstered the attack, especially in the final third. There are people at Bayern to whom I owe long-due apologies, and Leon Goretzka and Vincent Kompany are among them. Goretzka first. He had an amazing game. He was decisive, smart, and handled the opponents with ease. Granted, he missed several major and easy chances. However, the improvement from an error-prone and easily overrun Goretzka to this new version of him, who seems a lot more composed, is more than enough for now. Kompany, man! While he has received his share of deserved criticism, he seems to have turned a new leaf. The system, mostly unchanged, now looks full of players who are willing to, and are capable of handing an above-average performance every week. The signings have certainly done the Belgian a huge favour. Jonathan Tah was fantastic and Tom Bischoff too had an amazing game. However, what has really changed is his attitude towards youngsters. Choosing to sub in nearly every second-team player he had on hand for the second half was not just bold, but also a decision that proved to be the best later on. Witnessing a phenomenal performance from a second-team player is amazing enough on its own. However, against a team like Spurs, and when every youngster puts in a terrific performance, it is truly out of a dream. From the terrific goals from Jonah Kuziasore and Lennart Karl, to the assists from Paul Warner and Santos, and the performances from midfield and defence, Casciano Chiala, everything about these youngsters was incredible. It hardly felt like they were inexperienced kids. They did make a few errors as they tried to navigate their way through, but managed to put up a good fight, with their foot on the gas the whole time. one can only pray that company decides to let them play more often. If they can completely shut down Europa champions Tottenham Hotspur, they can be at least half decent against Bundesliga teams. It was disheartening to watch João Palhinha and Mathys Tel play like shadows of their former selves. Palhinha had a particularly bad game, and was responsible for conceding the penalty. He was constantly overrun by attackers and simply could not handle the situation. Tel, though he is an incredibly promising player, had a forgettable game too. While we cannot immediately jump to conclusions from one pre-season friendly, it certainly makes it a lot easier to accept Tel being sold.